Get everything organized here. Need to get organized because I got props today. I have props today. I said I would not use props, and here I am using props. Welcome to job number 9. Newspaper publisher and editor. I'm Matt McDowell. Welcome to 52 at 52. So, I'm writing for the Gridley Herald. I'm writing for the high school newspaper. But yet, it's summer and there's no high school paper to write for. And so what do? Start your own paper. What could be more natural? We're all about 17 or 18. I believe it's our junior year. It's that junior. That's the best year, right? Between junior and senior year. Just nothing but possibilities. We decided to call it Esoteric Times. You know, you're looking for ad content and you want people to buy what's it called? Esoteric Times. Oh, you mean so it's only for a few people? Yeah. But do you want to buy an ad? Esoteric Times. Why esoteric? Who knows? We weren't esoteric at all. We were writing about the football game or the coach resigning or album reviews of movies and, not album reviews of movies. Movie reviews of movies that people could see. They weren't weird movies. You could go see them. Albums. They weren't obscure albums. They were albums you could just get off the shelf. So I had to go deep into the vault, into the McDowell archives, and I found some copies of the Esoteric Times. Now, I say newspaper publisher, but really what it was is we were doing a zine. But zines weren't a thing back then. No one had done a zine. We'd never seen one. So we just did this thing, and we called it a newspaper. Really, it was it's this. It was, here it is, Esoteric Times. It's just this, Nothing fancy. Esoteric Times. All clip art. We used clip art because photographs were really expensive, and we draw stuff on it. There's a beanhead. We drew a beanhead in there. More about the beanheads later. I looked through this, and I think we did it 4 times because I've got 4 copies right here. It seems like it took us all summer to do it, and we wanted to do it every week, but I think we did it every 2 weeks. But here's the very first one. Here were some of the stories that we'd have, Ebby resigns, teen center, a disappointment, the thrill of victory, youth program underway, discipline policy questioned. Oh, here's one. Gridley is safe. And then right underneath it, whip comes down at GUHS. GUHS, everyone knew, was Gridley Union High School. I guess we were really good about using letters that nobody would, GUHS, who knew what that was? But actually, everyone did know what GUHS was. But here's one that people didn't know. SJB to continue another year. What could SJB possibly stand for? I don't even know. It's not even in the lead. It's not even the lead. And this was by Jan. Sorry, Jan. You should have had this in the lead. The Student Journalistic Broadcasters Project. To continue for another year. Hawaiian update. Heidi on sports. The Velasquez connection. Those were the kind of stories that we would have. Basically, we didn't have any sort of mandate other than, we would talk. I'm not even sure if we met weekly. I think we met once as a group, and then everybody just kind of wrote whatever they wanted to write. Here was the staff, the ET staff, not Entertainment Tonight, but Esoteric Times staff. We had Ken Miller, Jan Roberts. Jan Roberts was our high school English teacher and also our journalism teacher. R. Buckner, also Richard Buckner. He's now a famous singer-songwriter. So there's that. For you Richard Buckner fans out there. We would never call him Richard Buckner. We'd call him Rick. And you know what? My name, I talked about that name Matthew, and I'm not opposed to the name Matthew. But for me, for some reason, I was always in trouble when people would call me Matthew, so that's why I don't like it. But Matthew McConaughey, Matthew Modine, those all sound fine. Matthew Perry, those all sound fine. But Matthew McDowell, for some reason, actually that does sound pretty good, and I should probably go with Matthew. All my friends, Russ becomes Russell, Wes becomes Wesley, Rick becomes Richard. They grow up. I haven't grown up yet. I'm still Matt. Mom McDowell. There's one name that no one ever forgets, or you don't have to repeat it. What was your name again? And that's Jack. Jack is the best all-around name ever. I just went to see a Jack Reacher movie last night. Jack. And of course, they call him Reacher in that, even though Jack. You don't get introduced to someone and their name is Jack and you forget it. You always remember Jack. Enough about names. Where was I? Oh, okay. So we had R. Buckner, Richard Buckner, Heidi McCracken, Sean Tilby, Chris Heinrich, Matt McDowell, and Mark D. Nakata. I like how he put the D in there. This isn't alphabetical. It's just random, completely random. I like that. And we would put this thing out. We put it out 4 times. When did we put it out? We put it out today. We thought that was hilarious. We wouldn't put a date on it. It would just be today. That way it was always up to date. You were always in the moment. I think that was our thinking. And we got a bit of a buzz here. But this is something that my mom did. My mom made up this little piece of paper here. And it's from the Gridley Herald. High school students publish summer paper. And it goes on to talk about how amazing we are and some amazing stuff. And here's a picture of us. And I don't know if you can know this, and you won't be able to tell this in the picture, but I am wearing my Scoop button and my Scoop shirt. And also, I'm so dang skinny, I look like a heroin addict. And I've got a weird, expression on my face, And you know what? Jim Carrey's got nothing on me with weird expressions. I was referred to as the Herald's Weekender columnist, Matt McDowell. The Herald's Weekend columnist. Very nice. Sounds good. I like that. I should introduce myself. I work for the Herald. I'm the Weekender columnist. What we would do with them is we would put them around various businesses. You've seen them a million times. They're just sitting, they're free. I was a printer. My brother had the print shop. The print shop was doing great, and we had a CompuGraphic CompuWriter 2, which is a direct input photo typesetter. This was a big deal. Quick review, when we're setting type, it was these pieces of metal that you would put into there. Well, with a photo typesetter, there was a keyboard, and you would just type it in, and then it would come out in a long column, all justified, perfect. Except there was no monitor. There was a little screen. Can you call that a screen? It was just a little thing like that. And the words, as you would type the words, they would come off. So you'd have to kind of type and then look at the words. And if you were a bad typist, I wasn't a bad typist, but I was a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Inaccurate typist? You got lots of typos. And you couldn't tell what you had because it was, by the time it was gone, it was gone. And then the whole thing would print out, and it was like, oh my gosh, I've got lots of typos in here. Do I want to retype that whole thing and waste all this money and time and effort and probably still get it wrong? The answer is no, so we left the typos in. And I was just perusing these, and let me read you some of these typos. There's a typo on every lead paragraph of every front page. Maybe it was something that we were going for. Let's check this out. Volume 1, number 1, coach of the North Section champion football team, the Gridley Bulldogs, is leaving Gridley. Fine, except for the in the Gridley Bulldogs. So, that's not too bad, but they get worse. Here's one. Under whip comes down at GUHS. When students at Gridley High return next September, they still be met with a new discipline policy and additions to the dress code. Still instead of will. Front page, lead paragraph. Gridley has extra security, and if all plans go smoothly, it will soon have oven more security, because ovens need to be safe. Holy smokes. And this one, I'm not sure about it, but 6 Gridley youths have swam their way into the Guinness Book of World Records. Swum? Have swum? Have swam? Anyway, that's kind of impressive, actually. I'd totally forgotten about that. These guys, they swam 5 days, 300 miles, Guinness Book of World Records. That's pretty impressive. It was littered with typos. So much so that at one point, we would write in there, printed courtesy McDowell Printing. Kind of give my brother some props, because he was just charging us cost. He was just charging us for the paper. He wasn't charging for time or even printing costs. He was really giving us a good deal. And after about the first or second one, he goes, hey, can you drop that you got it printed here, because there's so many typos that it's kind of hurting our business. That's not so good. When you're trying to do something nice, and they're like, yeah, can you not mention us? Because we don't want to be associated with you. Totally makes sense. Who's printing this thing? And it was me. I was the one typing all these things in and doing the cutting and the pasting and the layout. Why is this a job? Because we got some money. We got money from ads that we sold. We sold ads to The Scoop. We sold ads to Little Debbie's, which was a clothing store for little kids. Or not Little Debbie's, that's a snack cracker. Little folks. Family Fitness Center, the Gridley Teen Center, 7-Eleven. Are you kidding me? Corporate sponsors, 7-Eleven. Deb's Deli, The Bazaar, which is weird because that's just my parents. Did we make a lot of money? And probably everyone on the staff's like, we made money. And we didn't really make money, but I got some money. I got some money from this thing. What else do I want to say about this? Here's that we'd have a bean. I'm using props a lot. I should probably not do this because I just kind of get distracted and start just. It'll just be a picture of me. This whole an entire episode of me like reading. Oh, that's funny. This was a zine. We didn't know what zines were at the time. We just were doing it for fun, and it was fun. We had a great time doing it, selling the ads, putting it out there. As you'd go around to like Bremer's Hardware, you would see it there. At the Scoop, it would be there. You'd read it. And there was one particular article that got a lot of attention because it was called The Crickets. But it wasn't called The Crickets. I was going through the first issue, and we had a big blank space. And it's like, oh, what am I going to put in that blank space? I had nothing. And so I just started writing on the CompuGraphic CompuServe. And by the way, who titled CompuGraphic CompuServe? Whoever titled it that was not saying it aloud. They were just like computer geeks. I'm like, okay, we have a computer, we're doing graphics, let's put the two together. CompuGraphic, that is a mouthful. CompuWriter. They couldn't call it the Comp2, CompuWriter, 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 Copywriter, CompuWriter, CompuWriter. Where was I? I totally lost my train of thought. I remember. I've got this blank space. I've got to do something, put something in it. So I start writing this rambling, kind of weird story about crickets. And this guy the world's overrun with crickets. I can't really remember. I haven't read them in here. I haven't read them for many years. Here it is, just below the movie review of Stripes. Here's the little spot that I'm talking about. The cricket jumped me from behind. I reached for the side of the table, but it was too late. The crickets had eaten my younger brother. I whirled around just in time to see the largest of the crickets descend upon my face. ... This got a lot of interest, because then every episode, I keep calling them episodes, every issue, we'd continue that story, the little cricket story. And people really like those little 2 paragraphs. Who doesn't like to read 2 paragraphs? That's easy. Who wants to read like 4 paragraphs? Written by a bunch of high school students. Not me. That was a big hit. That was like the biggest hit of the paper, at least in my opinion. The crickets. People still talking about. Remember the crickets? Weird. Job number 9. Newspaper publisher editor. Probably should be Zine. And then later on, I've written for other zines, and zines are like a thing now. I mean, not a thing now, but back in the day, I wrote for Head Zine in Los Angeles. I wrote some weird articles for this zine called Head. And it wasn't what you're thinking. It was like, they were strange articles. And this was kind of strange too, because we would have weird creative writing bits in this. We tried to do some news. We tried to have some editorial. And we did. We'd have news, editorial. But it was always like a little bit late, because we're not going to, be scooping anybody. If I had a business, I would have put an ad in there. Zine publishing. Before there was zine publishing. Job number 9. Thanks for watching. This is a bit of a rambling one. I don't have like some sort of I need to wrap it up somehow. And therefore what? What's the point? What was the point? Everyone involved in this, as far as I know, no one got into journalism. I don't think anyone ever, that was it for us. This was our swan song, Esoteric Times. CompuGraphic. Man, that thing was, you would look at it and you're trying to type and look at the same time. You miss words like sill. An oven. But you know what? All of these headlines, I'm kind of proud of all these headlines, except for the thrill of victory. That's not that great of a headline. And also because they didn't really win anything. Congratulations to all my fellow Esoteric Times staff members. Good job, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe. If you can't subscribe, don't subscribe. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next time here at 52 at 52.